Have you ever noticed that after you've been thinking a while, being able to do things and will yourself to do things can be different? Or have you ever noticed that you get hungry after you've studied a lot? We're going to talk about it in today's video and how it matters for your productivity. Hey, yo, and what's up, tribe? Today, I want to talk about ego depletion theory. Ego depletion theory is one of many phrases or theories or frameworks that researchers have used to talk about how we only have so much mental energy to give, so much of an internal battery. I want to talk about two studies that really underscore this, but suffice to say, the more you've been doing, the more you've been using your mind for something, whether it's impulse control, studying, the more you need a rest. And I want you to think like an athlete. So let's get into it. First, about the evidence behind ego depletion theory. There is some controversy, but it's been replicated enough that I think it's worth really thinking about the evidence for it. One study basically showed that people were asked to resist eating a cookie or more cookies. And some of the subjects were given a mentally demanding task, and some of the subjects were not. Those individuals that were given a mentally demanding task were less able to resist eating those cookies. And that's important to note, right? Of course, impulse control is part of that. Impulse control uses that. So the more that you've held back from eating a cookie, if you're on a diet of some sorts, then the more difficult it will be for you to continue doing that. And it's important to understand your mind in that manner. Second study was actually done looking at, I believe it was in Israel, parole officers. And basically, the people who were granted parole when they were closer to any type of rest. So in the morning, they were more likely to get parole. Right after lunch, they were more likely to get parole. Right before lunch, more likely to be rejected from parole. And of course, what's probably happening in that last case is that the judge or individual who was in charge of making that decision was exhausted and wanted to err on the side of safety, and so they were less likely to grant parole to those particular individuals. So those are two studies. Again, they're not the only studies, but they really highlight and underscore the issues involved with this. So what does that mean for you? Well, first, it means that you have to go slow with yourself. And here's my own personal journey with that. I've mentioned before that I've had some tough times in the past, some family issues, COVID, blah, blah, blah. Well, I've been trying to get back into my habits, and I've tried to get myself back to right where I was. So think about this like an athlete. If an athlete takes 2 years off from weightlifting, they can't go right back into the gym and lift what they used to lift before. They'll get incredibly sore. Well, I was experiencing the same exact thing. I was unable to get back into some of my habits. And what I realized is that it was way too much impulse control. It was way too much energy. And of course, I was falling back as a result. So that might be you as well. If you're trying to do too much, as I said in another video, you've got to be patient with yourself and allow yourself to ease into whatever those new habits are. The other thing is to understand how this works with you. So if you are trying to lose weight, or if you're trying to watch what you eat, if you're trying to stay away from alcohol, what that means is that you have to understand that there's going to be weaker moments and stronger moments. It doesn't mean that you yourself are weak. It just means that you have less energy and you have yet to recharge. Recharge in ways that help you. If you're an introvert, sometimes that means getting away from people. If you're an extrovert, sometimes that means going around people. The other thing to think about is if you're a student and you're studying, that means that your brain needs breaks when you study. Have you ever noticed, or you've probably even heard the stereotypical goof about how you get all your best ideas in the shower or when you're not actually sitting around thinking about those ideas? It's because your brain is in a rested state and it's actually able to think around those things. So just like athletes use periodization for what they do to get stronger, faster, better, whatever it happens to be, you too should use periodization to become more of a badass, more of the person you want to be. And of course, being patient with yourself as well. No athlete has a complete linear increase in strength or speed, and no human can have a complete increase in good habits. And that is something I want you to take away from this. So, ego depletion theory, how it matters for you, why it is important. You need to make sure you're resting. And with that, I hope you're a little bit better today than you were yesterday, and I'm looking forward to you being a little bit better tomorrow than you were today. In the meantime, if you like the videos, click like, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications, and I'll see you next Monday. There we are, I'm on. One of the challenges of this is having a clingy dog exactly under my legs.